Alright, take a look at this. Two charts, Aptos and SUI. For almost 2 years, they moved identically. Same tech, same origins, even the same people behind them. But then SUI, boom, 15x. And Aptos fell to the bottom. How does that even make sense? Some people say it's manipulation, others think that Aptos is real play quietly loading under $5. Either way, something here doesn't add up, so let me show you what this chart might be lying to you. My name is David and this is Walk Into Crypto, a channel where I share my real stories about crypto, my life, and the road in between. So today let's find out why Aptos isn't pumping and why that might be exactly what smart money wants. Aptos isn't just another blockchain. It was built by former Meta engineers, the same people behind Facebook's Libra and Diem projects. The goal was simple: create one digital currency for 3 billion users across Facebook, WhatsApp, and Instagram. But when regulators realized what they meant, that a private company was about to launch its own currency, Congress called Zuckerberg in and basically said, "You can't do that. You will compete with the US dollar." Under pressure, Meta killed the project, but the blockchain, the tech, and the dream survived. From its ashes, two projects were born, Aptos and SUI. Two brothers, same DNA, but different paths. When the team split, SUI took the builders, the creative side. NFTs, games, hype, and Aptos kept the architects, the people focused on payments, scalability, and real finance. That's why SUI is loud, colorful, flashy, chasing trends, and Aptos is quiet, structured, patient, building rails for the real money. And when the hype fades, guess which one will make the real money in the end? Let's talk tech, because this is where Aptos really crushes everyone. Aptos runs on the Move programming language created inside Meta. It was built for two things blockchains usually have to choose between: speed and security. Most blockchains still process transactions one by one, sequentially. Think of it like a single checkout at a supermarket. Everyone has to wait for the person ahead. That's how Ethereum, BNB, Solana, and even most L2s work. Let's compare. Ethereum, about 60 TPS. BNB chain, around 1700. Solana, 3000 transactions per second. L2s like Arbitrum or Optimism, somewhere between 100 and 1000. Now Aptos, it runs parallel execution. Thousands of transactions at once, not one by one. 13,000 TPS in real test, up to 160,000 in theory. That's 4x faster than Solana, and way more stable under load. But speed isn't the full story. Move make Aptos almost unhackable. It blocked the same vulnerabilities that drained billions on Ethereum, like the DAO hack that split Ethereum in two. On most blockchains, developers have to manually fix those bugs. On Aptos, it's automatic, built right into the code. If one transaction fails, the rest keep going, and you can't sneak in tiny transactions like on Ethereum. Once a contract starts running, it's locked until it's done. No freezes, no rollbacks, it just keeps running. That's why Aptos isn't just fast, it's been great infrastructure for DeFi and payments. Why does parallel matters for money? In DeFi and payments, most transactions are independent. Transfers, swaps, lending updates, parallelization lets Aptos handle all of them at once. More speed, lower fees, fewer delays. That's not just a benchmark flex, it's what makes money actually move smoothly. So if Aptos is faster and safer, why does SUI look richer? Because a lot of his TVL is fake. Top SUI protocols like Navi and Hadal are stuffed with wrapped SUI that borrowed, staked, and restaked again. About 70% of the liquidity is just SUI pretending to be more SUI. A financial mirror hole. Aptos, real liquidity. Top protocols like Arias and Tala hold mostly USDC, USDT, and bridge assets. Only about 15-20% is APT. Stablecoin volume says it all. Aptos proceed 98 billion in stablecoin volume versus 13 billion on SUI, a 7x difference. So when you see SUI ranked higher on DeFi charts, remember, it's mostly hot air. Imagine when SUI's price drops, the whole thing unravels. Because when your TVL is built on your own token, every dip becomes a chain reaction. Borrowed, staked, restaked, until it collapses. That's the difference. Aptos has real liquidity, SUI has just momentum. What really matters is money flow. Right now, Aptos is quietly becoming the highway for stablecoins. Reason number one, fees. Sending USDT on BNB or Tron can cost anywhere from 50 cents to $2. On Aptos, around 4 cents. When you move millions, fees matter. That's why exchanges, funds, and whales are routing stablecoin transfer through Aptos. And there's alignment too. Circle, the company behind USDC, is an Aptos investor. They have every reason to make Aptos the home of compliant stablecoins. And lately, you can feel it happening. The numbers don't lie. In mid-October, Aptos has its busiest week ever. Then on October 27th, boom, it hit 1.8 million daily active users, the highest since the mainnet launch. Aptos isn't becoming the home for stablecoins. It already is. Remember that US bill, the Genius Act, that would let companies issue their own regulated stablecoins? Most major chains like Ethereum, Solana, BNB can't easily meet the level of compliance. It's already partnered with Microsoft, SK Telecom, and Google Cloud to build a regulated financial framework called Aptos Ascent. It checks every box regulators care about. KYC, audits, full compliance, all built in. So when the US finally approves corporate stablecoins and digital bonds, Aptos won't need to catch up. It'll just plug in. That same setup makes it ideal for tokenized real-world assets, things like bonds, real estate, and funds. That's why Aptos already ranks top 3 globally in RWA tokenization. And while others chase hype, Aptos quietly launched Shelby, a decentralized cloud layer for Web3 data and AI. At this point, Aptos isn't just another blockchain, it's turning into the backbone of digital finance. Quick note on L2s. They're cool, but they still depend on their layer 1s, with sequencer risks, bridge risks, and fragmented liquidity. For banks and fintechs, that's a deal breaker. They want one layer with finality, parallel throughput, low fees, and clean compliance. That's exactly what Aptos offers. Now the question is, who's backing all this? 350 million from A16Z, Coinbase, Multicoin, and Circle. Average buy-in around $2.5. At $3 today, funds aren't selling, they're waiting. They usually exit at 10 to 20x's. Meanwhile, SUI's bakers are already up to 15 to 20x's. If Aptos repeats that, we're talking about $37 to $50 per token, and if it captures the stablecoin and RWA rails, $100 isn't impossible. Remember, over 70% of tokens are already unlocked, so selling pressure basically gone. Meanwhile, some whales are reportedly holding the price under $5, accumulating quietly just like Solana before its breakout. So yeah, the market is just waiting for liquidity to rotate back into the undervalued layer 1. So why did SUI explode while Aptos stayed flat? Part of it is optics. SUI looks more attractive to retail. Aptos went the other way. Less hype, more infrastructure, no marketing fireworks, just solid rails. But under the surface, Aptos is stronger. That's not a dead project, that's the quiet foundation of the next payment network. There are a few theories why SUI pumped harder. Maybe SUI really does have some hidden features, things like still under wraps and only insiders know about. If they expect big news, they front run it. Second theory, my favorite, SUI might be a decoy, a distraction from Aptos. It's flashier, louder, higher on CoinMarketCap, it pulls in retail attention, while smart money quietly buys APT. And third theory, the simple one, Aptos is just waiting for the right market. You don't pump hard on a weak cycle. Funds bought around $2.5 at $3.4 today, that's just 35%, nothing for a 350 million project. The previous highs were $20-21, but their run was short, too short for big players to unload. So my guess, at minimum Aptos retests its all-time highs, that's about 5x from here. If it truly locks in payments and stablecoin rails, $100 isn't crazy. That would mean around 58 billion market cap or 160 billion fully diluted. And SUI already touched 50 billion. So if SUI can do that, why couldn't Aptos with better fundamentals and real liquidity? If there's one layer once that deserves it, it's Aptos. Now the elephant in the room. On-chain data shows one big player quietly accumulating Aptos under $5, keeping the price flat. The same playbook used for Solana before its run. Manipulation, maybe smart accumulation before the next rotation, almost definitely. Three things could light the fuse. US stablecoin law. Aptos fits perfectly. Second, out-season rotation. You know, when the out-season happens, the liquidity flowing from BTC and ETH into strong layer 1s. And institutional adoption, expanding RWA's real-world assets, and payments through Microsoft and Circle. And here's the crazy part. Aptos hasn't even started pushing marketing yet. If they decide to go loud, to actually show the world what they've built, it's game over. SUI pumped for attention and Aptos built for adoption. And when the world starts demanding blockchains that are fast, compliant, and built for the real finance, it's not going to be some Dogecoin or SUI they use, it's going to be Aptos. Yeah, Aptos looks quiet, too quiet. And that's exactly how smart money likes it, because silence is where the biggest move begins. I'm David, and this is Walk Into Crypto. If this breakdown helped you to see the bigger picture, hit like, subscribe, and check my Telegram and X links below for daily market insights. Stay safe, and I'll see you before Aptos hit $100.